5 minute view from the Kop. There's been so much going off, but not this season, that I thought it'd be worth an update, a pre-season update. So pre-season, we talk about pre-season. It's really been jumpers for goalposts, really, hasn't it? Because we haven't had anywhere to play, so we've been playing on the playing a kick around, a strange kick around of sort of 45 plus 45 plus 30 to give everybody a chance to play all those fantastic players that we've got in the squad. Well, just a bit of a potted history of what actually happened during that time. So. End of the season, Danny Röhl went off on his holidays. Just happened to stop by several interviews while he was out and about in Germany and elsewhere. People seem to not want to be paying the compensation. Or maybe it was that they just didn't like the idea that somebody was so desperate to get out. I don't know. Maybe it's very difficult to think about it. So we got to the end of the season, and to thank them for the time, we decided that we weren't going to give Marvin Johnson, Michael Heckway, or Paul Valentin a new contract. 3 useful players. I think Marvin was getting a little bit less useful this time. Heckway did a solid job, even though we didn't expect him to be a full season player over there. And Paul Valentin was a great backup to Jan Valery. And we talked before around having a player in each position. So I mean, when you look at it now, it's scary, absolutely scary. So we got those 3 that left. We decided to exercise the extra year on Windass and Smith, but then we decided not to pay them, so they managed to cancel that contract extension and just left. Obviously, two goal scorers there, Gassama and Masaba, our flying wingers, worth an absolute fortune. We sold them for peanuts. Cadamartri, not the Lincoln loanee, but his brother, who was absolutely tearing up the youth league despite being several years younger than it, decided to make the jump to, well, he probably pushed over to Man City because they offered to pay some money. I don't know whether we got any sell-on deals in any of this, but he could potentially be worth quite a lot of money, or it may fizzle out. Who knows? But it was just one that we were keeping an eye on, really. But they sold him off just to pay the wages because they couldn't afford to pay the wages. And this has happened several times. So then we did offer Bannon, Peterson, and Famewu new deals, but then I think they got pulled. All the deals got pulled as we went into a triple lock, where we could only offer we could only get frees and free loans, and then we could only pay 7,000, I think, something like that in wages. So that, when you think about it, Bannon, Patterson certainly were on much more than that. Patterson decided he was going to finally leave. It looked promising at one point that we were going to be able to keep him. For Maywo, he jumped off to Hull because he obviously likes being at a club that's financially sound. Which Hull are not either. Might as well have just gone to Morecambe. Bannon just continues to turn up. Don't really know what's happening there. There's lots of rumours around about potentially he may be offered some kind of coach role, and that might be a way of getting around the wages bill. I don't know, but it's nice to see him. So you can say that you can't blame anybody for leaving. I get that, but at the same time, we're fans of the club, and we want to have some kind of loyalty in there. I mean, Bannon's shown it in spades. He needs a very small statue of him outside the ground. Absolutely brilliant. So just going back to pre-season again, well, we've got no pitches ready because we decided that I went over to Hull the day after they played their last home match, and they were already digging in the pitch up at that point because they wanted to get the pitch ready in time. But we decided that we were going to leave it, and so we got a situation where we were doing work at the training ground and also at the Hillsborough. None of it were ready, so we've had to just play matches here, there, and everywhere. Concord Park, probably. So it looks like we've only had one official pre-season match, which we lost against some kind of non-league team. But we've had a few. We've actually won his last 3, which is something. And Ugbo scored as well because we've got Ugbo for next season. But in the meantime, the North Stand, the roof's that rusty that they've decided not to give it a safety certificate, so that's closed. They're going to have to move everybody out of the North Stand to probably the South. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know how many season ticket holders we've got on there, but it's going to be it's a bit of a laugh, isn't it? People are talking about not even going. It's very difficult when you've got a season ticket, as I have. You want to go down there and you want to support the players, certainly support the players. Despite what you think about the owner, the fact is that these people are turning up and going to try and put a shift in. I don't think we're going to get spanked, but you've got to look at what we've got coming up. You know, they've got a tough start starting at Leicester. You know, that could be a difficult game. It should be a difficult game, but you know they've got troubles of their own. We've got Bolton in the cup, and Bolton are a league below us, but they've won every pre-season match, so that might be quite interesting. And then Stoke, and then Wrexham. I mean, Wrexham away, fourth match in is, well, that's going to be very, very difficult. What else happened? So we got the Mr. Vegas became the official sponsor, and DHgate became the unofficial sponsor, in the sense that they've released a new shirt. Some people absolutely hate it. I think it's actually quite nice. I like the retro copy and paste clip art that they've done on the shirt. However, at £72, it is way too expensive to get something that's not necessarily that different from things that we've had over the previous years. I just think, you know, we've been fleeced on the sense of the amount of money that you pay for a season ticket, and you have to pay it at the beginning of the season because that's when the early bird starts. It's just getting a bit ridiculous, that. 72 quid, so people are looking elsewhere, and apparently allegedly there are some Chinese manufacturers out there that will sell you one of those for a tenner, which is not £72. So that's what seems to be what people are saying that they're doing. On the subject of sales, obviously they're trying to sell the club. We were all getting very excited about Walmart at one point, which was rumoured to be in for us, but I think that was just a cruel joke. They were never in for us. Texter, worth a bit of money, was selling his shares in Crystal Palace, and they thought, well, you know, he might flog off one bird and get another one, the Eagles, to get the Owls. Don't know really about that. Milan Mandaric decided that he was going to jump in and save the club, and then decided he wasn't because there'd be too many people already involved. He's got a bit of an interest already because I think he was supposed to be given 10 million if we got into the Premiership. So obviously it's in his interest that we do actually do that rather than going bust. We've got out of a couple of embargoes, but I think we're still under one at the minute because we still owe money, but we might then go into another embargo because we're not likely to pay that. We still owe money for Malik Wilkes at Hull, apparently, who has been and gone without really troubling the statisticians too much, because he were not that good for us, and he ended up at Hull, which I think he did a little bit, but contract's finished now and off he's gone. On the sales again, we got very excited about a guy called Fatita, who's some billionaire, and still don't know whether there's anything in that. But we've got the Adam Shaw consortium, American consortium, where we're just gathering enough, coppering up to get just enough to buy the club, and they put a couple of bids in, which Chansiri decided that wasn't enough. And despite the fact that the club's worth 30 or 40 million, probably, I mean, you know, we've got no players, and we've got one of the stands needs working on. He thinks it's worth 100 million, and he's never ever going to get that unless somebody is really silly. And then with the issues that Chansiri's had, then we've got Tunagate because he was sort of disowned by John West and TUF, who were actually showing as some kind of sponsor at the beginning when he first started, but his family sort of said, no, it's nothing to do with us. We're not bailing him out. So interesting situation that we're in, really. Who would have thought that at this point going into the season that we'd have got the same chairman in charge, not the same manager, because Danny Roll left, came back, and then we decided that he was going to be going, that we didn't want him, that we were going to have Peterson instead. We'll have to see how that goes. But he's not really got that much to work with. So I think we've got 15 players. So if you think about the 11, that's another 4 on the bench. We have to bring some more kids in, I think, by the looks of it. we're not going to be troubling the 23 squad limit or whatever it is. We've got Piers Charles still in the net, but he obviously could be sold beforehand because he's worth a bit of money. Same with Jan Valery. I don't think anybody want to buy Iorfa. I think Bernard's a bit cropped. Iorfa's usually cropped, but Bernard's cropped. Lowe did very well last season, and he's likely to be poached at some point. The other Lowe probably going to be playing as a winger with maybe Ingleson and Chalabar in the middle. Maybe no Bannon, but maybe Bannon could fit in there. We don't really know whether Chalabar is going to be able to play a full 90 minutes, maybe after a full pre-season. Oh, sorry, we didn't have a pre-season, so maybe not. And then Olaf Kabaki, maybe on the other wing. It's going to be interesting. And then we've got up front, we've got Ugbo, Kadamata and McNeil to pick from. Now that's 11 players. And what have we got outside of that? I don't know what we've got as a backup goalkeeper. I think in defence we've got Liam Palmer, who potentially could play anywhere. We've got Otabayo, and he may end up going in place of Bernard if he's not fit. In the centre, like I say, Bannon potentially. We've got Rio Shipstone, Sean Fazier, options on there, but still not really a player for every position, or maybe putting people out of position a little bit. And up front, we could be lightweight. I mean, we should have a bit of speed with those players that are there, but having that player like Smith, who's very experienced, and he can hold things up. Not really think we've got that. We've got a couple of headless chickens in Kadamata and McNeil, but maybe it'll come good for them. I think with Bo, hopefully something's going to happen this season. Got off to a good start pre-season, so we'll have to see. No Windass to add that little bit of culture. If we've got no Windass and we've got no Bannon, then where's the creativity going to be coming from? It's going to be difficult. It's going to be very, very difficult. But let's see. It's not going to be long now. First match of the season against Leicester on the 10th of August. So very soon we'll get to see who's going to be in charge. They've still not announced it yet, whether we're going to keep Bannon. Obviously Danny Roll's gone. We know that. Whether we're going to have the North Stand open because they can do some work on it and get a safety certificate. We don't have to worry about it for the first match, but the first match at home is going to be the Stoke match, which is on the 16th of August. So we'll see whether we get a situation then, or whether anybody actually turns up, because there's a big push for everybody to stay in Hillsborough Park and have a party, which we obviously also missed out on this year, unfortunately. Not having any players or any shirt at the time to put on the bikes to showcase. Going to be a very, very interesting season, and hopefully we make it to the end. Hopefully we make it to the start. Until then, bye for now.